Well, the University of Louisville now has an acting athletic director. Vince Tyree was introduced, as you know, live on WHAS 11. We carried that news conference live this afternoon, and we thank you for staying with us at 5:30. I'm Rachel Platt.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. Tyree is a former UK baseball player. He's a UK grad, but current Louisville businessman, and he sits on the UofL Foundation board as the finance chairman. He's also the son of the legendary Louisville standout player, Charlie Tyree. He says he is excited to step into the new role and commit to the school as long as he is needed there.
Well, as we all know, the first steps were taken yesterday really to begin the firing process for Rick Pitino in the wake of that FBI investigation. He is allegedly Coach 2 in those documents.
Our legal questions tonight about those allegations and about firing the coach, Athletics Director Tom Jurich as well. Their attorneys with those letters yesterday saying proceed with caution. Attorney Kent Wicker, a former federal prosecutor, and this is a federal case with Coach Pitino at least, is joining us now to answer our questions. Let's look at the other side of this. The attorney for Coach Pitino, Steve Pence, has said, where's the evidence? If Coach 2 did something wrong, why wasn't he arrested? Where's the hard evidence that led to this action? Does he have any argument there that you see?
Well, we have to remember that in any criminal case, a defendant is innocent until proven guilty. And that's certainly true just as much for people who have been named or implicated and not criminally charged. So we've seen an allusion to Coach 2, which may be Coach Pitino, in a criminal complaint, but he's not been charged. And I presume that's because the government doesn't believe that it has the evidence to do that right now. That may change. Investigations go forward, more people come forward. He's certainly not out of the clear, but somebody decided that they weren't ready to charge him yet.
All right, so it hasn't been charged, but it was enough for the university to say, by everything we've seen here, we got to cut you loose. Now, the standard, I guess, for doing that is less obviously than in a criminal case.
Sure, that's a different decision. An employer has to make a decision about what's in the best interest of the university, and that may be to discharge an employee, even if you don't have evidence sufficient to convict him in a criminal case.
Well, of all the people, let's go to Tom Jurich. I thought maybe Dick Vitale said it best. He said he told personally Rick Pitino to resign, get out of this, there's enough messes. But then he said, what did Tom Jurich do wrong? I'm most puzzled about that. Where's the evidence that has his removal on the way?
Well, we certainly don't know all the evidence at this point, but we do know that Coach Jurich's contract requires him to be paid compensation, severance, unless they can show that he knowingly allowed this violation to happen. That may be very difficult.
If they can't do that, is that where it comes into negotiation, where you're fired with cause, without cause, and then that's where lawyers get together and there's a settlement and it's somewhere in the middle?
I think there are a lot of good reasons that people on all sides would like to resolve these cases without litigation on both sides.
Yeah, you're a former federal prosecutor. You know how they work in that. If you were Rick Pitino's attorney, do you eyeball big holes in the case when it comes to the coach?
Well, we don't know what all the evidence is yet. We have a complaint that mentions a couple phone calls that Pitino made. We have a coach making statements about Pitino, but we haven't seen any recordings of Pitino yet. I think we've got a lot to wait to see here before we can pronounce him guilty.
And I think it's interesting, though, you seem to me, and tell me if I'm correct, that the contract negotiations and how you're going to get out of this with firing and letting people go seems a little bit more gray and problematic in the case of Tom Jurich.
It's all very tricky right now, and there's a lot that we're going to have to see play out before we can come to any conclusions.
All right, well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.